Hi everybody, here's a fairly quick video I think to show you how to take through Design Space a bundle of 4 SVGs that allow you to make these shadow box frames. These are lovely frames. They're recessed like an ordinary purchased shadow box frame would be, which enables you to put an acetate or a PVC window in there so that you can use it to display your things like you normally would, and they're all protected behind a glass window, if you like. Not glass, obviously, it's PVC or acetate or whatever you decide to use. 4 different sizes. All the sizes are given in this diagram, which will be on the Etsy listing. The biggest is 11 inches external frame, 280mm, which gives you an inside recess of just over 9.5 inches or 245, and the tiniest frame is 8 inches external, which gives you a 6-inch window opening, and inside it's just over 6.5 inches wide, square I should say. These are square frames, which is 170mm. So that graphic will be on the Etsy listing. You can study that to work out if it works for you. But of course they are true cut file SVGs, so within the constraints of your mat and the card you've got, you can enlarge these or reduce them down to fit them exactly what you want to make. All 1 inch deep. Right, I think that's all you need to know from there. Let's go to Design Space and we'll bring one in. Right, I think I need this front page because with the latest updates to Design Space, I always sigh a bit when I see that there's been an update, because it quite often means that things don't go quite as well as we might want them to. And what's been happening in the last couple of days is SVGs sometimes don't come in at the right size, and with these very large canvas frames where you've got big pieces all in together, they've been coming in at about half the size they should. So when you get your, I'll just zoom out so you can see, this is the front page of the instructions that you get, the PDF of instructions, and I always, on all my SVGs, I include the information for the size the SVG should be when it lands on your canvas, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to refer to that right now. So we'll go ahead and bring one in. I'll bring the largest one in to start with, and it's landed on the canvas. Oh, 66.4. For all that might not be too far off. Let's just have a look. 66 point up there. Yeah, 66.492. Let me have a look on the front page of here. Oh, it's actually, well, isn't that just typical? It's coming at the right size. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so it lands on your canvas already selected. So the first thing you need to do is ungroup it. I'm using the desktop version for PC. So for me, ungroup is over here on the right at the top of the layers panel. When you ungroup it, you can see those 2 subgroups that were in there. And for my SVGs anyway, and I think for more these days as people are getting a bit more organised with them, the first group always contains the lines that you need to convert to score, all together in one place, so it's super quick and easy to convert. So you just click on that group to select it, go to your operations menu, choose score from the drop down, and because there's more than one set, that's why there's a group rather than just one set, we need to ungroup it. So you're just going to choose ungroup again like you did before. Then select that group that's below that contains all the cut pieces, the acetate and the cardboard, and click ungroup. So now everything on canvas is a separate piece, and we can attach the scores to the individual pieces that they relate to. Quickest way to do that, click on canvas somewhere near a piece, drag a box to more or less enclose it, and click on attach, which for me is at the bottom of the layers panel. You need to do that for each piece on screen that's either got scores or, which like this one here, has these little internal cuts. I'll just talk about those in a minute once I've attached them, because otherwise I'll forget. Right, so you select all that and attach it. This is the backboard of the frame, and sometimes you might want to build up on that backboard, might you, if you're sticking rolled flowers to it, or if you're putting other keepsakes in there in an arrangement. You're going to want to work and stick things onto this backboard, so you need to know where your frame fits. So that's what these little cuts show here. If you work within that space, you know, not right up to the cut, but maybe, I don't know, quarter of an inch or 5 millimeters away from them, you know that your design is going to fit nice and easily within the frame walls and be seen through the window. So that's what those cuts are there for. So I'd leave those on if I were you. You could delete them if you don't think you'll need them. If you're doing, say, a shadow box that you're layering up from the acetate, but you can't see them anyway. It doesn't matter. Once the frame's constructed, you can't see those, so I'd just leave them there. Obviously, it's a square frame, so there are 4 walls. You just get one of each type. There's a wall A, you'll see in your instructions, and a wall B, and you need 2 of each, unsurprisingly. So we'll just click duplicate there. I did Control D on my keyboard. Duplicate is up here, top of the layers panel. Right, so this is the biggest frame. Let's see what we need to make it. Yeah, you need A3 or tabloid for this one. This is the very biggest one. Yeah, I don't think it'll fit. We'll just go back to have a look. See if there's any way you could squeeze it. Do you know, if you were being really, really mean, you might be able to cut that from a sheet of 12 by 12, but because the newer machines make you measure your mat anyway, you would still need the long mat for this one. You might be able to get away with a sheet of 12 by 12 though. Possibly. It's 303 millimeters and 12 by 12 is 305. So, what you could do, we'll go back and make it now. So you're going to have to choose A3 or tabloid. So I'm going to choose A3. We're in Europe, so I'll choose A3. But if I was going to chance my arm, I didn't. I cut this one from A3 personally. But you could just try. You've got to use your long mat, unless you're on an old machine, in which case you might even be able to sneak it through on a standard mat. I might try that on my old Explorer 2. But with my new maker, I can't fool it. I've got to use the long mat. I'd put a sheet of 12 by 12 on there, just maybe 3 millimeters away from that very, just zoom in a bit, from that very first white line on your mat, and then that would give you a little bit more space down here, and you might just get that out of a sheet of 12 by 12 if you've nothing else to use. But otherwise, it's 5 sheets of A3 you'd need. You'd definitely, let's have a look at that. Yeah, you'd get that out of a sheet of 12 by 12, wouldn't you? Yeah. The backboard you can cut from 12 by 12. Oh yeah, and the smaller walls, look as well. The wall Bs will also cut from 12 by 12. Yeah, so it might be worth just trying to see if you can get those wall As out of 12 by 12 as well. And then that's the window. You need 12 by 12 for that. You can't usually get PVC or acetate in 12 by 12. I've never seen it anyway. I buy PVC binder sheets from Amazon. They're A3, 230 micron. They work really well for things like this. They're quite thick. So I personally would use that. You can also get it out of a sheet of tabloid, and I'm sure that will exist in the US or other places where you can't get A3. So, biggest frame. You might be able to get it out of 5 sheets of 12 by 12. If not, it's 3 sheets of 12 by 12, 2 sheets of A3 or tabloid, and a piece of acetate. Right, so that's the biggest one. All the other frames cut in exactly the same way. I'm only going to go through them very quickly just to give you an idea of the materials you might need. Right, that's the wrong size. That's way too small. So I'm going to go back and look. This is the 10-inch frame. So I'm going to go to my instructions. The 10-inch frame should come in at 63.94 centimeters wide. It's good that I can show you it on one that hasn't worked. So you just go to your width box up here. I've already forgotten. 63.94. In this width box here, you type in 63.94, and then it's not typed it. 63.94, and then just tab across or hit return, and it sets the height automatically, and that works unfailingly. So just until we'll get another update, I'm sure, which will fix this size issue. It always does. It usually lasts for a couple of weeks at the most. So just if you do buy this and you bring it in anytime soon after the 8th of May, just do check your sizes before you cut it, or you'll end up with a very tiny frame indeed. So we've got the same thing, we just need to ungroup it. Select that first group in your layers panel now, go to your operations menu, choose score, and then we have to ungroup it because there's more than one set. Then click on the group underneath that contains all the cut pieces and ungroup that. So now everything's separate, no scores or cuts on the acetate. Those tiny little cuts on the backboard, we need to attach those. And obviously we need to attach the scores. I'm just using Alt A on my keyboard there. And then we need 4 walls, so we just select both walls A and B and duplicate. So we've got one of each. Right, let's see what we need for this one. So that's your acetate. It's still too small to cut from A4, unfortunately. So you're going to have to choose tabloid or A3 there. These pieces now will fit on A4, I think. That's nice, isn't it? That's your backboard. That won't fit on A4 though. But with it being a backboard on your frame, it doesn't matter as much, does it? You can cut that out of a different piece of card if you want to. So yeah, you'd need 12 by 12 or A3 or tabloid to cut that one. But the actual walls of the frame will all cut from A4, or will it cut from letter? No, they're too long. Letter is 279. Yeah, they're definitely too big. Right, so if you're in the US where you don't get A4, you would need 12 by 12 to cut this. So you'd be looking at 4 sheets of 12 by 12. I mean, they would go on letter. Yeah, the smaller walls will go on letter, but obviously you're going to want your card to match, aren't you? So yeah, probably 12 by 12 there for this one. 5 sheets of 12 by 12 in that case. In Europe, 4 sheets of A4 and a larger sheet for your backboard. Okay, so that's the, just quick and look again. Yeah, that's the 10-inch frame, the next one down. So B on that photograph we looked at. Let's bring in this one, which is the 9-inch. That's the external size of the frame, by the way. Do look at the measurements for what the internal size is that you achieve on these. That's too small, I can tell straight away. Go back here, 9-inch frame should come in at 62.86. So you just select it, go up here into the width box, 62.86, and tab over, and it automatically sets the height. So again, we just need to ungroup it, then select that top group that contains the lines that need converting to score. Go to your operations menu and choose score from the drop down, and then ungroup them because there's more than one set. Then select that group underneath that contains all the cut pieces and ungroup it. And then we can attach all the individual things together. This piece with the tiny little guide cuts within it. Attach that one. This is our wall B. Attach that. And this is our wall A. You can see, can't you, that they're different shapes. When you make your frame, they go together in opposites. So 2 wall A's opposite each other and 2 wall B's, and that's why they look different, because this is where they fit together. You'll see it in the instructions. It's quite simple, really. And it's a square, so we need 4 walls. So duplicate. I usually use my keyboard, but I'll do it here. Duplicate, it's at the top of the layers panel. Okay, so let's see what we need to cut this one. Yep, so we can choose A4 or letter now for these frame walls because we're getting into the smaller sizes. This one, the backboard, will still need 12 by 12 for, or A3 or whatever you're going to cut it from, but it's a 12 by 12 minimum. And then this, I think this now, yep, you can choose A4 or letter. So an acetate or a PVC sheet, size A4. And this frame C, this one, it's the 3rd one down, gives you an internal size of 7.6 inches square or 195 millimeters and a 7-inch window. Right, back to design space. I'm not going to cut it, so I'll press cancel, and we'll bring in the smallest one now, which is this little yellow one. That should come in at 59.02. So again, Go to your width box, type in the width it should be, and then tab or return, and it automatically sets the height. And again, we need to ungroup, select the top group. These are the lines that need converting to score. Go to your operations menu, choose score from the drop down, and ungroup it. Then select that group underneath that contains all the cut pieces and ungroup that. And now we're ready to attach scores and these little internal cuts to the backboard. There's wall B, there's wall A, and we need 2 of those, so I'm going to duplicate them. So now, yes, we can choose A4 or letter for the walls, and I think actually if you were using A3, obviously because they are so small, you would get 2 walls on one sheet. And then the backboard, look at that, on the smallest frame you can cut the backboard from letter, but we don't get that in the UK, so we'd be looking at 12 by 12 for that. And then the acetate for sure will cut on A4 or letter. So 4 sheets of A4 or letter for the walls, letter in the US if you've got it for the backboard, 12 by 12 if you're in Europe, and A4 or letter for the acetate. Right, that's it. Pretty simple really. You get a PDF of very detailed instructions with lots of photographs showing you how to assemble these. Your first one will probably be your practice frame. They're not difficult, but they're just, you need to be painstaking and very accurate to get a nice result with them. But once you've made one, you'll be flying. They're very easy to make after that. The thing I love about these is you're going to be able to make them in different patterns and colours to coordinate with what's going inside if you want to. And so I think when you're giving them as a birthday celebration or of an event, I think it's quite nice that you can come up with your own frames to match what's going inside. Okay, if you've got any questions when you come to cut or assemble these, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can contact me on Etsy or Facebook, whichever's best for you, and the links to do that are in the description below. Better to do that than leave a comment on YouTube, I have to say. Sometimes it takes me a while to see those. If you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, there's a link to do that as well in the description. Don't forget, if you're purchasing 3 or more SVG files at one time from the Tanglecrafts Studio Etsy shop, the link is in the description, you can use the 30 for 3 discount code to get 30% off your total purchase. This offer runs all the time, but you need to use that code when you check out. And if you haven't already joined the Tanglecrafts Studio Facebook group, join now to get any special Etsy discount codes issued to group members and to take advantage of the free SVG files I give away in the group from time to time. The link to the group is in the description. I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.